Alrighty, everybody. Let's just make sure everything seems to be working. The volume. I'd hate to have the show start and no one hear a word I can say. We've all done that. If you're a YouTuber, you probably have done that yourself a couple times. So, looks like everything's running. Looks like we're back in action again. Welcome back, part two of our 100 best board games of all time. This is the best of the best, my friends. There's literally 25,000 different board games out there. And to get down to the top 100, you got to be pretty gosh darn good. I mean, we're talking even games that are in the 80s and 90s and hundreds. These games are still ranked like 8 or 9 out of 10. I mean, these are really good games. And even if they're, because there's just so many. There's just so many. Higher Ground Gaming, what is going on, my friend? Just got Darwin's Journey Collector's Edition in today. That's another one that just came out. I saw Slipper Drips was running a show tonight or this afternoon on that. So I watched a little bit of it. So that's another one we might have to get and try it out and see if next year it'll be on the list sometime, right? Maybe. Tim Zale, what's going on, my friend? Good to see everyone tonight. So we are doing number 90 to 81. And then, as you can see here, next Thursday, April 20th at 8 o'clock p.m., we'll be doing our 70 to 61. So we're doing Thursday and Friday this week, Thursday and Friday the following week, and then Thursday the following week after that, and then Sunday, where we're going to be getting together with Higher Ground Gaming, Lower Slower Board Gamer, and Phoenix Knight, and going to be able to do our top 50 countdown with those guys. But don't forget, they're going to be doing some preview shows on theirs. They're going to be also doing their top 100 to 51 on their own channels. So make sure you go check them out. Let them know and, leave a comment down below. Let them know that Jester sent you over to check it out and do all the fun stuff. So there you go. All right. So we're doing what are we doing? We're doing 90 to 81 tonight. That's what we're doing tonight. Interesting enough, there are just one sports game and there are 2 war games on tonight's list of 10 games we're going to be looking at. Number 10, number 90, number 89, 88, 87, 86, 85, 84, 83, 82, and 81. Unfortunately, 2 of these games I don't currently own, but we'll get to that when we get to it. The others, of course, I do own. So, here we go. Number 90. It's way back there on the couch. This is number 9. Oops, let me get we got to get the fancy graphics going here. Number 90, there you go, is Role Player. Role Player. This is by Thunderworks Games. Thunderworks Games. And it is by Keith Majika. I'm sorry, Keith. I'm mispronouncing your name. I apologize. Great game. It's basically you are playing a game where you're actually creating characters in a fantasy setting, obviously. And it's a dice worker placement thing where you get to place dice down and you get to alter based upon if it's strength or intelligence, constitution, charisma. Each of those has special abilities. There are also cards in the market that you can purchase. And I would highly recommend that you get the expansions for this, especially the Monsters and Minions expansion. So what that does is while you're building your character, you're actually going to be going and fighting a boss at the end of building your character. But during your process of building it, you're going to fight different minions. And the minions are going to give you clues as to what you should be doing so you can help defeat the boss at the end. It's just a fun game to just kind of make your own character. And dice placement, I love dice placement games, as you guys know. And of course the cards, you can play this solo. There's a solo mode built into it. The solo mode works pretty well. It does what it's supposed to do. It doesn't get in the way. And there's a lot of different replayability in this. There's a lot of different races. You randomize your race, you randomize your class, you randomize your background, your history. I mean, everything randomizes, and then so you're trying to put the dice down in different positions, and even your alignment are adjusted based upon which cards you activate. If you're doing good things, your alignment will go towards good, and if you're doing bad things, it'll go towards the bad spot. So it's just a fun build your own character. And then to top it all off, Thunderworks Games. I'm telling you, these guys rock. These guys are rock solid company because they decided that they're going to come out with a fantasy game that you can take characters through, and you can actually role play your characters up in role player and then import those into that fantasy adventure game. So super kudos to them and super cool thing. And it's very popular, that adventure game. I don't own it. It's very good though, from what I understand. That is number 90, Role Player. Awesome little game. Awesome little game. All right. Number 89. We're in the 80s now. Yes, it is. This is a big boy here. This is a big boy. Ooh. We have not got this one on the channel yet, but we will eventually. Speaking of fantasy games, we got Dungeons and Dragons Castle Ravenloft, the board game. Now, what I'm doing with this number 89 is all of the Dungeons and Dragons adventure games are all number 89. So you can take either Castle Ravenloft, Heroes of Dritz, Wrath of Ashladon. There's 3 or 4 different ones in their series. There's also Ghosts of the Salt Marsh. So any of those, put them in this spot. They all play exactly the same way. There's just a different theme to them. And they're really good adventure games based upon 4th edition Dungeons and Dragons, which I love 4th edition Dungeons and Dragons. Everyone should have tried that. But basically, each character has daily powers, which use powers, which you can use at any time. Then there's ones that are like adventure. What are they called? Encounter powers, so you can only use it once an encounter. Daily powers, you can only use it once a day. And so you got to kind of manage when you're taking your rests, right, and stuff. If you're playing 4th editions and Dungeons & Dragons, basically the same thing in this game. And you're just running around. In this one here, you're in Castle Ravenloft, one of the world famous Dungeons and Dragons settings. And it's a fun just adventure. You take a couple characters, you're running around. You can still, even though this is out of print, it's been out of print for a long time, you can still get a couple of these games pretty cheaply. $50 and under, I think, is what I was getting them for. I think I got this one for like $30, so it was a steal. As much content you get in this. And, of course, it comes with huge miniatures. Good quality miniatures and everything in here. Look at that miniature. Lovely, right? You can paint it out. It looks great. So, now I got to put this back in. I didn't want to get it out, but now I got it out. There's a whole bunch of different miniatures in here. And, of course, there's the boss you're going to fight against. Each of the enemies has their own placard that gives you the information. The game works against you. This is a cooperative game, which we love cooperative games. The game works against you, so you can play 1, 2, 3, 4 people, no problems. The game works against you, and it basically tells you what the enemies do when it's their turn to activate. Just a fun game to play. Going through the adventures. This was actually on tap to bring it to the channel in April. Unfortunately, someone just like, Jester, what about our top 100s? I thought you were going to do that. And then I was like, damn, I was. And so now this has got postponed until I can get done with this, and then we'll get it to the channel. So this will be coming soon, my friends. Dungeons and Dragons, Castle Ravenloft. And like I said, there's 4 or 5 in the series. Any one of them can make this spot. I just happened to grab this one because it was the closest one in the row up there on the top of my shelf. So there you go. That is number 89. Number 88. Let's look at number 88 now. Shall we look at number 88? We shall. Number 88 is our token sports game that we ended up with this time. And this, my friends, is, and I've got it here in the shrink just as you would order it, as I have not even taken this out of the shrink yet. This is Inside the Crease Hockey. So it's all a sports-driven game where you're going to be taking all the different players, positioning the players on the field, rolling dice to get the results of who's got the puck and what they do with it, whether it's good or bad or whatever. There are fast action cards you can get with this, or, again, since it's Inside Sports, they do everything awesome over there. You can instead run the little app on your computer and it'll automatically pull all the fast action cards for you. Plus it'll keep the score, plus it'll keep the time and everything. So there you go. And you can see there is a ton. You get a ton of players when you order a season file. You can play through an entire season. You can put different teams against one another from different eras. It's just a great hockey sim out there. The reason it's number 88, the reason it's number 88 for me is hockey games just tend to be a little bit on the heavier side, and they also tend to take a little bit longer to play if they're in-depth hockey games. And hockey, unlike every other sport out there, the fastest sport on earth, right? It is the hardest game to make a board game for, right? Because at hockey, it's fast, right? It's fast. You got to make a fast game. Well, you can't make a board game fast, right? How do you make a fast board game, right? It's very hard to do that. So hockey is very hard to simulate as a sport in general. Now, there's probably a couple other hockey games on here. If you've been around the channel, you probably know that there's a few of them. And yeah, Inside the Crease Hockey, not a bad game at all. And like I said, these guys over at Inside Sports, they do a great job with all their sports. They did a great job with the hockey. They've now updated it where the goaltenders can make great saves, and then the goalies can get cold, and goalies can get hot. So you always get the old expression, run into a hot goalie, right? You run into a hot goalie. If a goalie makes a great save, then it's harder to score goals on them. So it's a fun thing to do. And we've had a lot of Inside Crease. We've actually started the 90-91 playoffs between Buffalo and New Jersey, the classic series from the Sabres and the Devils. And man, oh man, that series was awesome. So check that out on the channel. It was a great time. So Inside the Crease Hockey, number 88. Great little game. Fun too. Number 88 was Inside the Crease Hockey. Number 87. Number 87. Oh, yeah. Number 87 is a beast. Great solo game. You can play this game solo, no problem. But let me tell you, this game wears you down. This game wears you down to your nubs. The chance of you winning this game is like 0.1%. And if I say that, then like 80% of the people out there know which game exactly I'm talking about. That's right, my friends. It is, well, it helps if you put it up correctly. It is Ghost Story. Woo! Lower Store board gamer myself played this remotely, which you can do. You just have it set up on the computer, have your little camera up above, and you can kind of show the other player what's going on. I think there's probably a tabletop simulator modular for it as well. And this game is one of these games, whew, I tell you, the game, again, it's a solo cooperative game. You're working against the game, and it is, again, a beast. This is one of these games, it is going to take you a while to figure out because the AI is coming out after you. The board is randomized. The board is randomized based upon different location tiles. You randomize these in a 3x3 grid, and each one of these locations do certain things. And what you're trying to do is kill Lu Fang, right? That's all you have to do is kill Lu Fang. But Lu Fang is the master ghost. He's deep in the deck. He's like 45 cards into the deck. So you have to literally go through 45 ghosts to get to Lu Fang. And then when Lu Fang shows up, you have 10 activations to kill him, because at the end of when the deck runs out, and there are 55 cards, when the deck runs out, Lu Fang flies away and goes away. So you have 10 turns once he arrives to get rid of him. So not only do you have to get him, but you have to kill him when he's there. And that is not an easy thing, my friends. It is, but it is a fun game, because this is one of these games you are literally doing great. Me and Lower Store Board Gamer, we were 30 ghosts in, knock on wood, and we were like, oh, we're doing good. We're doing good. And as soon as they said that, bammo, that was the curse of death. I mean, maybe we were only 20 ghosts in. I forget. But man, it was like within 5 ghosts, boom, we were toast. And there are resources you can manage. You have your chi, which is a special ability. And then there's a couple expansions, which is kind of interesting. I actually, if you saw when I opened this up, I actually have one of them in here called the White, what is it called? The White Temple? The White, what is it? The White Moon. That's what it is. The White Moon, kind of a hard expansion. The expansions are kind of hard. You can still get ghost stories for a pretty reasonable price. Getting the expansions is a little harder. Especially there's White Moon and the Black something. The Black one is hard to find and it's expensive. The White Moon is a little less expensive and it's a little easier to find, but again, kind of a premium. But this is a fun. Again, the game was working against you, so you and your buddy, or the 4 of you, or solo. If you can run all 4 characters, run them solo. And it's a great game. It's brutal. Just don't expect to win, but like 1% of the time. That is number 87. Number 86. 86 is a war game. And it's a big war game. And it's a really fun, awesome Storm Above the Reich by GMT Games. Air combat simulation above Storm Above the Reich. So this is kind of the years of 44 and 45. And you're trying to defend Germany against the Allied bombers coming in to bomb. And you have to shoot them down. And you're managing your ME-109. Actually, this is a ME-190, actually, I believe. And you're managing your pilots and your planes. And the formation is kind of a tactical. There's a tactical board. And you're actually putting tokens and planes on the map, and then you're moving them into different positions. So you're coming high from this behind the suns and depending on the clouds. And it's a really in-depth air combat simulation that runs really, really smoothly. We actually played this with Blue Tweezers online. He taught us the game. We had a great time playing it. We played like 2 or 3 scenarios in a row, and it was awesome. And I wish I could get to this to the table eventually. I think it's on my list of 10 war games to do this year, actually. You can kind of see the tactical board there in the background. There's a lot to kind of manage, so it's not just, oh, I'm going to put my planes down there, roll a dice, and see if I kill them. There's a lot to this game. And of course, if you enjoy this system, there is Storm Above the Reich. There's also Skies Above the Reich, which are 43 and 1944, which is kind of the glory days for the Reich, because at that point the Allies hadn't figured out how to successfully put their bombers into different formations so they can kind of cross reference their guns and angles and everything like that. If you've watched my playthrough of Target for today, you would know that. But eventually in 1944, late 44 and 45, which is Storm Above the Reich, they do figure this out. So now, being a pilot, a German pilot during those years, is not as good. It's not as fun because you get your ass shot down a lot. So there you go. Really cool game. Storm Above the Reich, and or if the soon to be reprinted Skies Above the Reich. Number 86. Alrighty. That is number 86. How is everyone doing tonight? We're cruising right through this. We're going to number 85. The Equalizer is here. I haven't played Storm Above the Reich, but it's on my radar. Ooh, nice. You have to get it, my friend. It's a really good game. Really good game. Great. All these games, I keep saying that, right? I sound like a broken record. Jester, all you do is say, this is a really good game. This is a really good game. This is a really good game. We're talking about the top 100. And a lot of people go, so that's 100 games. I mean, how good can these games at 85 be? They can be 9 out of 10. That's how good they are. 9 out of 10. That's how good they are, right? These are not games that you're rating 3 out of 10 or 5 out of 10 or even 7 out of 10. These are 9 out of 10 games, right? And even at number 85. And when we get down to 20 and below, you're talking maybe even 30 or below. You're talking 10 out of 10 games, right? The number 85. I do not currently own number 85, so you're going to get to see a picture of it. And that is, I got to make sure I click on the right one, because there's 2 that I don't have pictures for, or own, so I'm going to have to show you a picture. Number 85 is one of my all-time favorite fantasy games. I played this so much. Me and my D&D group stopped playing Dungeons and Dragons so we can play this game. That's how good it was. What game am I talking about? That's right, my friends. I'm talking about Descent. Journey in the Dark. Especially the first edition that came out, where you basically had a dungeon master, basically, and the players ran characters and stuff. Like I said, my Dungeons and Dragons group, when this came out, we stopped playing Dungeons and Dragons for 6 months because we were playing this game. That's how much we played this game. And I mean, I had every expansion that came out, and I had so much stuff with this. There is probably maybe 10 or so expansions for this, and it was a good rate. And then they came out with the second edition. I bought the second edition and a couple of the expansions with that one too. I didn't play it as much because it was kind of, like hit its heyday, right? And then it was kind of, for us, at least anyways, it was kind of over with. Once we played it a bunch, we played the first edition, so we really didn't need to play the second edition. But I should do a bottom 100 games of all time. So anyways, Descent, Journeys in the Dark. Great. It's basically, if you want to play Dungeons and Dragons, but you don't want to have a game master and role playing, and you just want to play Dungeons and Dragons with rules and forget the role playing stuff. This is basically Dungeons and Dragons without the role playing, right? This is all stats and numbers and stuff, and rolling dice to see how much damage you do, and taking all the role playing out. If you wanted to play Dungeons and Dragons without role playing, we can play Descent. That's what you do. That's what we did. In my Dungeons and Dragons group, we did it. So Descent, Journeys in the Dark, number 85. All right, we go to number 84. Well, you're going to be done here. Not too bad. Number 84 is my one and only card game that I actually have on. And this game owns, I have a deep, deep, deep relationship with this card game specifically because at Columbus Area Board Gaming Society, we would always play heavy games during the day. And then when everything was winding down at the end of the day, we'd always say, well, what are we going to play? And we were like, I don't know. What are we going to play? And so we'd look around and see if there's anything. And then we'd end up playing this little card game, which is the best, in my opinion, the best card game ever created, known to humans, mankind out there. What game am I talking about? I'm talking about the littlest game that's going to be on this list. It's called Tichu. Tichu. So it is basically a trick. It is a 4-player 2 versus 2. So you always get a partner, and you and your partner, and this is why it's the greatest, because you and your partner need to be on the same page, because you can't talk about what you're doing, but you have to tell them what you're doing by passing cards to them. You have to tell them if you got a good hand or a bad hand. And like that was the thing, right? That was the thing back in cabs, was we would team up and there would always be the trash talking. And the best thing was I could outthink anyone and teach you. And I, no matter what, most of the time I did pretty good winning against them. And I would always rub it in on them because they thought they were hot tamales. This is, if you got 4 people and you want to play a card game, this is the game for you, because again, you have to figure out what your opponent is going to want to do, because it's very simple premise. It's whoever gets rid of all their cards first wins. That's it. That's all there is. So if you get rid of your cards, you're going to get extra points. So you're bidding to tell people, I can get rid of my cards before you. And then somebody else says, no, I'm bidding because I can outduel you. And then you pass cards. And so now you got to figure out, based upon what your opponent bid and what your playing partner bid, what kind of cards you should pass them, because you have to know this, because his hand relies on, it's kind of like bridge. It's like his hand relies on you giving him the right card. If you don't give him the right card, he's sunk and you lose points. So this is awesome, awesome game. There are special cards. There's dragon cards. There's the Phoenix card. There's the dog. And then there is the, what's the other special card? Don't remember right off the top of my hand what it's called, but there are special cards, plus it's a normal, kind of a normal set of deck, but there's not really a normal set of cards in here, because aces are only high, they're never low. And there's also bombs, which are, if you got 4 cards of the same kind, that's a bomb. Or if you got 5 or more cards in a run in the same suit, that's a bomb. And some bombs outduel other bombs. And I could play this every day for the rest of my life without a problem. It is so much fun. It is. Is it a jester card? No, that would be funny if I forgot it was the jester card. Now I'm going to have to look it up, because there are 4 special cards. They are the let's see here. You can actually play this with 3 people. Just don't. You can play it with 5 people. Don't. Just, if you got 4 people, play it. Otherwise, don't. That would be my recommendation. The dragon, the phoenix. Why can't I find it when I'm looking for it? I mean, this is all there is for rules. That's it. I mean, that's all you get. So The dog and something else. What is it? Now, I will let you guys explore that because I'm not going to waste all night trying to figure it out. The other cool thing is you get 2 decks of cards. So, like, literally, when you buy this, you only play with 1 deck. But while you're playing, right, somebody's shuffling up the next set. So you're ready to go. You don't have to wait, right? You just start shuffling the next one. So it's a constant cycle because you got 2 decks. Or you can have, if you got 8 people, you can play twice. Teach you. The only card game, specific card game, that I would call well, that's not true. I have other card games, but let's say the smallest card game that I'm going to be presenting with you guys tonight, number 84, Teach You. Number 83. Number 83, I don't own again. But fortunately, GMT is going to be reprinting these series supposed to be very, very soon. And you, my friends, if you're watching this now, you can go put your P500 order in immediately because they're about ready to start reprinting it, and they're going to reprint the whole series from start to finish, individual boxes, last time ever. After this time, they're going to combine everything into like 2 or 3 boxes. What am I talking about? For those of you who know, it is Command and Colors Napoleonics. Yes, GMT is reprinting this whole series with individual boxes. After this, they're going to be putting expansions 2 and 3 together into one box, 4, 5, and 6 into one box, 7 and 8 into one box. So you won't be able to get them individually anymore. It's just costs too much money for them to print it that way, the way they're going to reprint it. Because, of course, cubes, lots of money in cubes. So wood is hard to get. I guess there's trees have stopped growing now. So we cannot afford trees anymore. Making cubes is too expensive. So anyways, Command and Colors Napoleonics, based upon the Command and Colors system, which is, there are probably 20 or 30 different series that use this, what we're calling the Command and Color system, which is it breaks up the map into a 13 by 9. Is that what they are? 13 by 9 hexes. And then there is a left, a center, and a right area. And you're going to play an activation card, which will tell you activate X number of units on the left or X number of units on the right, or activate 1 unit on the left, 1 in the middle, and 1 on the right. So you activate your units based upon the cards that you play, and then you're moving them around tactically to kind of defeat your enemy by wiping out your enemy units. And for every time you wipe them out, you get a flag, and each side is trying to gather flags. And of course, Napoleonics, we're going to have cannons, you're going to have cavalry, and you're going to have all kinds of really cool mechanisms in the Command and Colors system. This is Napoleonics. We will see more of Command and Colors later on. The reason this one is lower on the list is because I've only been able to play it with people that own it, because I haven't owned it for a while. I had the original in one of the expansions when I lived up north, but when I moved down here, I got rid of it. And so I've been waiting on the reprint. GMT supposed to be reprinting this. Where are you? Over here. No, you're over here. Supposed to be reprinting this and Combat Commander. I don't know what we're waiting for. They keep promising, but they never, do it. So let's get going. I don't know what we're waiting on. I talked to Mike when Mike Butterjelly the other night when we did our live stream together, and he said it's coming. It's Combat Commander's on the printing block. They keep threatening it. One of these days they might actually produce it. So go, if you're interested, Command and Colors again. This will be the last time they're producing it by individual box by box games. Otherwise, they're putting, like I said, 2 or 3 expansions into each box because it's just too hard to manage individual reprints for the Command and Colors systems. So There you go. Number 83, Command and Colors. And half the people in the world, including myself, say it wrong. If you look, it's actually called Commands with an S and Colors with an S. If you actually look at the actual wording. So most people just call it the Command and Colors. It is not technically the Command and Colors system. It is the Commands and Colors system. I think they should have named it that way, but that's the way they did it. Anyways, just your little bit of trivia for you guys. So the next time you hear someone say, "Oh, it's the Command and Colors system," no, you idiot. It's Commands and Colors system. All right. That's number 83. Number 82. Ooh, number 82. Ooh, we got a lot to say about number 82 and number 81. Now, number 82 is going to be a game. Again, I'm saving spots for groups of games that are all very similar, do the same kind of similar thing, and there's like 5-10 different games of the system, right? This is one of those games. It is a hugely popular game. For me, it's number 82. I just haven't played it enough. I know I've got probably 6 different games of this series myself, and I've only played 2 of them. I have to get the other 4 eventually. But unfortunately for me, it's one of these games where it's like, if I'm gonna play it, I'll just play the base game, right? Why would I play the X, Y, or Z? What game am I talking about? Very popular, ultra popular Pandemic game by Z-Man Games. This is Can You Survive Humanity? I actually own, like I said, 3 or 4 of the Pandemic games, maybe even 5 or 6 by now. I own a bunch of them. And like I said, I keep wanting to play them. And I'm like, I got the Warhammer one. I've got the, what's the other one I just saw just the other day? I've got like I said, 4 or 5. You can even call Defenders of the Realms kind of Pandemic-ish. Great game if you're not familiar with Pandemic, right? You're basically trying to cure a bunch of diseases on the world before the world falls into disarray. And there are basically 4 different colors. And what you're trying to do is track down the cures by having cards. You're earning cards as your characters are moving around. Each character has its own special ability. Again, you might have a theme here, Jester. Another cooperative game where the game works against you. Each player runs a special character, and each character has a special ability. We can say that with about 3 of these games tonight. Ghost Stories, Castle Ravenloft, the Dungeons and Dragons system, Descent, Journeys to the Dark, and now Pandemic, which is 4 of these games. You can see a general theme in what I like, right? What I like, games that work against me. I'm running characters. I got special abilities, right? If those are kind of my sweet spot games. Pandemic, just like that. My character, the scientist, I can cure diseases better. If I'm the explorer or the builder, I can build things better. If I got the businessman, I can use my private plane and get around a little easier. And of course, it's all cooperative, working together, enjoying time playing with your playing partners, which I find a lot better than being competitive. I like cooperative a lot more than competitive games, as you can see. The reason it is not ranked higher for me, it is one of these games. It is very simple to teach, very simple to play, very simple to learn. For me, it's just a little bit too simple. I would like a little bit more meat to my bones. It's a great game. Don't get me wrong. I still rate it 9 out of 10. Great game, great system. Everyone can play it. Probably everyone out there is probably already. Reign of Cthulhu was the other one of the ones I have. We actually played that on Halloween here on my channel. Pandemic Reign of Cthulhu, which has the Cthulhu theme, and I tried to expand out, and maybe I would enjoy those more than I like Pandemic, because usually Cthulhu and the Warhammer, they add a lot of stuff to it, so I should probably try these a little bit more. Like I said, 82 for me is any Pandemic game, because for me, I'm going to just put them all in one category because they all play basically the same way. So I could put any one of them. This will be the only time you'll see Pandemic on my list. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's a 9 out of 10 game. If you haven't played Pandemic, freaking get it. It is a classic game. It is awesome. Like I said, the only thing is it's just, for me, it's like family friendly, right? It's family easy. I can sit down and play with my wife and kids. We have a good time. And everyone's happy at the end. No one's upset and crying and mad at one another, because you're all working together and you're having a good time. And even though you don't win that often, you win enough that, you know, when you do win, you feel like you did something good. So, number 82, Pandemic, the game. Boom. All right. Now we're going to number 81. And what I just said with about number 82, you can say the exact same thing about number 81, right? What do I like? I like fantasy games. I like horror games. I like running characters. I like running with people. I like it when the game system works against me. I like it when, we're trying to manage cards. We're trying to do things. This, my friends, is number 81. Just like number 82, just like number 85, just like number 87, just like number 89. And you can even say Role Player is kind of a little bit like that. Now, not every game on my list is like this, but it just so happens that there's a bunch of these games in this stack. And this is, I think, Phoenix Knight, his all-time favorite game. If you're familiar with his channel, you should be. He's a great guy. We're trying to support him and get him more viewers, more subscribers to his channel, because he does a great job. He puts a lot of time and effort into his channel, so I like YouTubers like that. Anyways, this has got to be his favorite game of all time, and he's gonna unsubscribe to my channel right now when he sees that I'm rating his, probably at least his, I know it's got to be in probably his top 10, if not in the top 5, right, of all time. Monopoly. No, it's not Monopoly. It is Arkham Horror, the card game. Yes, Arkham Horror, the card game. Oh boy, oh boy. Oh boy. This is a great game. I love Arkham. You're going to see probably every other Arkham game in existence coming up on my list, because I love it. I love fantasy horror, as you guys know. The reason this is 81 for me is a great game, and a lot of people, and I mean a lot of people, will probably rank this as within their top 10 games of all time. That's how good this game is. But for me, it has two things that I cannot get over, right? Number one, deck building. If you are not a deck building kind of guy where you want to sit down for hours, now you don't have to do any of this, right? You don't have to deck build. You can just take the pre-con decks that come out of the package and you can just slap it. You can just grab 20 cards by accident and create a deck, right? But that's not any fun, right? If you don't like deck building, it's hard to get into this game. It is hard to get into this game. It is a lot of work outside of actually playing. If you were to see my desktop right now, this game, Arkham Horror, the living card game, is just like the game that's in front of me right now. I've got 14 different stacks of Marvel Champion cards spread all over my desk as I'm working on building decks for different characters and stuff. That is basically what you're going to be doing with this game. You're going to be spending a lot of time and effort doing that. If you don't like doing that, which I don't, I am not a deck building guy. I've never been a deck building game. I am trying to do it in Marvel Champions. I would like to do it in Arkham Horror, the card game. I would love to do that in that game, but for me, it's like clipping counters of war games. To me, it's like a waste of time. I could be playing a game, not clipping your counters, right? I should be playing your game. Same thing with Arkham Horror, the card game. It's like, instead of building a deck, I could be playing your scenario. You do realize that, right? You do understand that I could actually be playing your game instead of building a deck, right? You understand that? So, for me, it's kind of a wasted opportunity, wasted time. But where credit is due, the few times that I've played it, I've had a pretty decent time. And it's been interesting. I just haven't got into the story as much as that's going on now. That could be because usually the story that starts in the book is very dumbed down and very simplistic and stuff, right? So that is why Phoenix Knight and myself are scheduling a time. We are actually scheduling a time to play Arkham Horror, the card game, together online. He's going to teach me how to play it. He's going to give me some inside information. We're going to play it. We're going to try and actually run through like a mini campaign. And I'm hoping to get some inspiration from him, like I did for Marvel Champions and Get Up and Game. I got some inspiration to get back into Marvel Champions by Get Up and Game's channel. And I'm hoping Phoenix Knight can get off his dead ass and get me some inspiration for Arkham Horror, the card game. And we're going to be doing, I believe, a 4-player. So we're looking for 2 other players that want to jump in on the adventure. If you want to do that, contact me right here. Let me know, because we're going to be running through a tutorial teaching scenario. Probably, I don't know if it'll be the first one out of the book or whatever, but we're going to be doing that together. So, Arkham Horror, the card game. Oh, I did mention there are 2 things that you might not like about this. Number 1, deck building again. Number 2 is bag manipulation, right? Whenever you take damage, you're reaching into a bag and you're pulling out a chit. And anytime you do a test, you're reaching into the bag and you're pulling out a chit. And the chit tells you plus or minus to whatever your stats are. And you need to have a certain number of successes. So let's say I need to have 2 successes and I have 3 and I pull a chit out of the bag and it gives me a -1. Well, my 3 goes to 2 and I need to have 2 or more, so I'm successful. If the chit I pull out of the bag is, say, a -2, then my 3 goes to a 1 and I don't have 2 or more, so I'm unsuccessful. So that's what the bag does. It kind of manipulates it either positively or negatively against you, and you never know how much it's gonna work with you. Now there are some special ones that you can pull in and out. Each of the characters has special abilities. They have their own decks, their own manipulation to the system. It is very Marvel Champany. Marvel Champany. Is that even a word? Probably not. It's like Marvel Champions, but obviously with the fantasy horror setting, and you're on a scenario based. It's run by a scenario. So that's kind of the thing that I just, again, anytime you deal with long, complex campaigns and keeping track of information, my brain kind of tunes out of that. I want a one shot and be done, right? That's kind of like where I am. When I play my sports games, I play the game and then I'm done, right? Till I go to the next game, right? These long campaigns where you have to keep track and move forward and you're going from this spot to that spot to the next spot. There's not many of those ranked really highly because I don't like keep track of this. Now there's a few. But you'll see as we go. That is just not my sweet spot. I like, as you can see, what my sweet spot is, right? I like cooperative games where you're running different characters, special abilities, special powers. The game works against you. You're playing fantasy horror setting. You probably already know what my number 1 or 2 game of all time is just upon saying that, right? Anyways, that is tonight's look. And I know, like I said, I'm hoping to get some inspiration. I've played this a few times by myself. Now, it could be totally different when you play with somebody else, like Phoenix Knight, who knows his game inside and out, knows the rules inside and out. He can help you, teach you, help you learn the game, which might hopefully inspire me to try it out more myself and play it, which is what I'm doing with Marvel Champions, which I would not ever build decks for, which I will never get involved with. And now I'm actually doing it because I got some inspiration from Get Up and Game. So I'm hoping to get some inspiration for that. So let's review tonight's games. Number 90. Number 90. Boom. Number 90 was Role Player. Great, great. Build your character, fantasy character kind of game. Get the Monsters and Minions expansion, though. It's 10 times better with that because you're actually doing something while you're building your character. So if you can afford that, get that expansion. It's well worth it. Number 89 was Dungeons and Dragons. Again, any of the Dungeons and Dragons game, either Castle Ravenloft, Legend of Dritz, Wrath of Ashladon, Ghosts of Salt Marsh, any one of those you could put into this position. Number 88 is Inside the Crease Hockey. Great little hockey simulation program. Inside the Crease, great company. I like all their games, to be honest. So the hockey is just a lot to manage. So that's why it's a little bit lower. 87 was Ghost Stories. Great game. Just very, very difficult, very hard. Can be very depressing. Losing. You got like a 1% chance of winning. I have literally watched probably 10 people playing this game, and I've never seen anyone win. Never. And I have never won, and I've never actually witnessed someone seeing them win the game. So that's how hard it is. If you enjoy hard games, try some Ghost Story. 86. Storm Above the Reich. Great World War II simulation game, bombing and defending Germany against bombers. And using your ME-190s. And tactically managing your pilots and planes on a tactical board. It's great. Number 85, Descent, Journeys in the Dark, especially, like I said, first edition. I think second edition, the game works against you. You don't need that quote-unquote dungeon master or dungeon leader or whatever they called it back in the day in the first edition. I think second edition, the game works against you, and they changed that format where everyone is now characters and playing against the game, which I think is even better. So that is number 85. Number 84 is Teach You, a great, great 4-player. Don't play at 3, don't play at 5, play at 4 people, team up. Get you and your partner against 2 people, right? And see who can outthink and outlast one another. It's a great trash talking game. 1,000 points? Oh, yeah, let's get to it, right? And there's nothing better than laying your cards down and watching your opponent's face, as there's nothing they can do, because the game is all predicated on whoever's got the lead, right? Whoever's got the lead, you have to follow them, but you have to play a higher card. So if I play a single card, if I play the 8 of spades, you can play the 9, the 10, the jack, the queen, the king, the ace, the dragon, the phoenix, or whatever, right? But if I play, say, a full house, 3 jacks and 2 aces, right? You have to follow that. You have to beat my full house. So there's nothing better, absolutely nothing better than saying, I'm gonna teach you before you, and then you're laying down cards and there's nothing they can do but stand there and look at you. And you're like, boom, there's my full house. Boom, there's another full house. Boom. And that's my last card, and I'm out. And they're all like, great game. 84, Tichu. 83, Command and Color Napoleonics. Commands and Colors Napoleonics. We talked about the proper pronunciations. Great Commands and Colors games. Napoleonics. Lovely. Again, GMT P500. Get over there and get on it because this will be the last time you will ever get them in the individual boxes. They've been out of print for a long time, so now's your chance to do that. 82 is Pandemic. Any one of the Pandemic games, I'm just put them all into one category, whether it's the Cthulhu or the Warhammer or the Istanbul or the Legacy Season 1, Season 2, Season 3. I just put them all in one category. It's Pandemic to me. Again, for me, it's just, there's great game, great system, fun, interesting, great, awesome game. Highly recommend. It's just, there's not a lot to there for me. I find it a little dumbed down. I like more meaty games, as you're going to see when you see the list coming up. For me, it's just a little bit, needs to have a little bit more to it, I guess. And number 81, Arkham Horror, the card game. Phoenix Knight will be unsubscribing from me and never talking to me again, but he's going to have to because we're going to be playing together. He's going to be teaching me how to play. He's going to inspire me to play more of it. And don't forget, next Thursday, that's right, next Thursday, April 20th at 8 o'clock, we're going to continue our countdown. We're going to be talking about number 70 to 61. So Thursday and Friday this week, Thursday and Friday next week, and then the following Thursday, we'll get this top 50 done really quickly. And then April 30th, 2 weeks from Sunday, we will be doing it live. We'll be counting down with Lower Floor Board Gamer, Higher Ground Gaming, and Phoenix Knight together Sunday night at 8 o'clock for 5 weeks in a row. We're counting down from 50 to 1. Check out their channels because they're going to be doing some preview shows. They're going to be introducing their 100 to 51 on their channels, and I cannot wait to see what they have got going on over there. So links down in the description down below. We will see everyone next time. We're trying to keep these to 1 hour. So thanks, everyone. See you next Thursday at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our 70 to 61. We've already done 20 games. We're a fifth of the way done with this already. Unbelievable. All the work. It's like Christmas time. It is like months and months of going and buying and wrapping gifts and getting everything organized and hanging all the decorations. And then literally Christmas morning comes and goes, and in 1 hour, everything's gone. It's like all that work for 1 hour. Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh. That's crazy. Anyways, we'll see you all next Thursday, 8 o'clock. Until then, my friends, we'll see you all down the line.